Welcome or welcome back. Thanks so much for joining me. Today we're going to essentially look at a photograph and in Photoshop remove distractions that cross over the line of the dog. Before we get started, if you haven't already, please do press the subscribe button and click the bell icon. The bell icon will give you a notification every single time I upload a video. I upload every week and sometimes more than that if I feel like it. So just like I've said, basically in this video what we're going to do is we're going to remove this bokeh circle which actually crosses over the line of Pippi here. You could use this technique as well for trees that are intercepting the dog. You could remove it for arms which go behind the dog, all sorts of things. I tend to use this technique relatively frequently. So I'm a bit of the way through my edit. This is the before image. This is the, well, basically where we're at now. Not quite finished it yet, but we're following the steps of the full edit video. In the full edit video, there is how to get to this layer here. There is also how to do the contouring layer and stuff. That's all in the full edit video, which I will link above. Then we also have on here radials, light radials there. Now that, again, that video I will link above. And then the only other thing that we've got there is two color adjustment layers. So we've got one changing the greens to orange, and then one's picking up the residual greens and turning them orange. So that's kind of where we're at now. I just can't get comfortable with this bokeh circle because it's just too bright and it's distracting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and duplicate our smart object layer, which, as you guys will know from my workflow, I keep a smart object layer so I can go back into my camera raw filters, but we need to rasterize this layer. So we right click on it and we go ahead to rasterize layer. With that layer rasterized, essentially it's just a normal layer, and so if your dog picture is just on a normal layer, you don't need to do anything, just duplicate it because you need to have two copies. So we will then grab a mask. Now we've already done a mask as far as this edit is concerned, so I can just use a mask that I've already created. If you've not got a mask, you do need to get a very, very good mask, and a video on how to achieve that is linked above. So we're going to hold down Option or Alt on the keyboard, click and drag one of our hair masks down onto our copied layer. So what that's done is that's put this layer mask on to this layer. So what that means, let's do a crude example here. Let's grab a brush. Let's put the brush at 100% on black. I'm hoping you guys can see that the line stops when it gets to Pippi. Now that's because there is this mask. So anything that's black on the mask is essentially ignored. So it's looking at what's beneath that, which is this layer here. If we were to disable the mask, you can see our line. So this bit that's lighter, that's because we've got a radial on there over the top of it, higher up in the layer stack there, but don't worry about that. So what we're actually looking at is this line here. Now if we enable that layer mask, Pippi comes back through because it's looking to the layer below. So with that crude example done, we can go ahead and start to fix our distraction. So this is a tree here. You can just see it, and I want to really try and carry on that tree there. So there is a tree here. I'm going to grab my clone stamp tool because it does do the best job of this. I'm going to hold down Option, I'm going to click to select this as my source. Now that looks green, that's because this layer is green. Okay, you can see a bit of rubbish masking there. So the tree is here. I've cloned this from the center of this tree, therefore about there. Remember, we want to be on 100% opacity, 100% flow. We're going to just go ahead and add that there. So let's go and zoom in. We need to check our mask now, so we can grab hold of the mask, grab a brush up here, or press B on the keyboard. We want to have a smaller, hard-ish brush, 50% okay, and we're just going to go and touch up and make sure that that does not intersect the line of Pippi's coat here. I'm trying to work out whether that is her back or not. If you're in doubt, just turn the layer off. Okie dokie. So we've got a little bit of Pippi down here, which we can introduce back again. I'm going to soften our brush off a bit, I think, and just bring that back. And you can always switch your palette by pressing X. So if you press X, it switches your palette around. And by doing that, you'll be able to just go in and fine tune. Still got Pippi's little whiskers coming through, so that's great news. I'm going to go in a bit closer. It's just a case of fine tuning the mask to get to the point that it is realistic. So that is pretty solid. Do you see? There's a bit of that hair that I just want to get back. These bits here. So I'm going to get a softer brush, a bit of a bigger brush, drop it to maybe 30% opacity, and just start to bring those bits of hair back. And just blending to get a good finish. Perfect. When we're finished, we've got an awesome picture. If you like this video, please do press the subscribe button and click the bell icon. The bell icon will help you out because it gives you a notification every single time I upload a video. I upload every week and sometimes more than that if I feel like it and if I have time, of course. I don't know if you can hear that, but that's Finn dreaming.